Hello, welcome back to the Temple of the Holy Beard. I'm Pastor Dave. Glad to have you here with us today. This is my second video of the day. I'm going to try to keep it short, but just another good topic that I want to cover with you. Fix that a little bit. By the way, been having a little trouble with the audio on a couple videos. I think I've got that figured out. Essentially, I was trying to do something to make the audio better, but I think it was making the audio worse. So please let me know in the comments below if this is very quiet, if you have a hard time hearing, or if it just sounds funny. Sometimes just because of how I'm recording, you're going to get a lot of nature sounds or farm sounds in the background. That's just where I live. There's not a whole lot I can do about that, but I'm trying. So again, if something's not right or you have a suggestion for improvement, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. I appreciate that. And if you let me know in the comments, it's attached to this video and I can try to figure out what it was that I did wrong in that video. Part of the learning curve. I appreciate constructive criticism. Anyway, moving on. Purpose of this video. This is one of my sermon videos. Just topic of this video is teach your kids. And by your kids, I don't just mean your own biological offspring. I mean any kids that you come in contact with. They are the future, after all, and depending on how you look at it, the future right now is kind of scary. So anything we can do to teach the younger generation is the better this society will be in the future, the better they will be, and the better that we will be in our later years. There's a big shortfall right now. There's things that people want to do. I'm running into people all the time. People are waking up. People that have been in the matrix their entire life have been waking up in mass over the last handful of years. And COVID woke a lot of people up. It's just a good thing. The trouble is that they're waking up and they're realizing that they want to start being a little bit more self-sufficient. They want to do more things for themselves. Like I said, they've been in the matrix, just going through their daily routine every day, and now they're thinking, well, hey, I can save some money if I do this by myself, or hey, this isn't very hard, and it's fun to do. I want to do it. And it's things that their parents did, their grandparents did. Humans have been doing for thousands of years. But this individual was never taught. And their spouse was never taught, so they don't know how to. And so they're having to go out and learn. If somebody asks you to teach them how to do something, if you can teach them, teach them. If you have the time, you have the energy, even if you want to charge them a couple of bucks, whatever. Really, it's not, to me, it's not about the money. It's about sharing the knowledge. And who knows, they might go off and get that firsthand experience, have some questions, and come back and teach you something. But even if it's someone your age, someone older, doesn't really matter. Share the knowledge. Same thing if you're doing something and you can use an extra set of hands and you have someone who might be interested, offer to them. They'll give you the help that will hopefully make the job a little bit easier, maybe a little bit quicker, and you'll be teaching them something, and they might teach you something in return. But the kids are especially important. Like I said, there's a lot of topics that my grandparents were doing, but then when I was growing up, the daily routine just didn't really permit us to learn everything that my grandparents taught my parents. So in more recent years, my parents have been getting back to their roots and doing a lot of those things that they did as a kid. And unfortunately, well, we don't live close enough together for me to spend a whole lot of time with them. But it's just knowledge is being lost. There's a lot of good information out there, and it's being lost. And on top of that is, if you think about a child from birth, I believe everybody is born, based on what I've seen, what I've observed. Everybody was born with certain natural skills, not necessarily the knowledge of how to do something, but the skills of being able to learn it easily, being able to learn it quickly, and being able to do it well. It is important for people to learn what those natural abilities are. If you can embrace them, you'll enjoy what you're doing a lot more. And you'll also, like I said, you'll learn it quicker and just be really good at it. And so if you are in a position where you can help a younger person to figure that out, they need guidance. They're not born knowing how to do things. I mean, if you were to set a kid on the living room floor and set some toys in front of them, they're going to look at it like, what is this stuff? Because they don't know what it is. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to use it. They don't even know how to play with it. They're just going to look at it and see, this is stuff. But if you sit down with them on the floor, you're showing them, we sit down on the floor and do this. And then you're showing them what to do. You're showing them how to play with it. You're creating a social bond, a familial bond with the child. And you're essentially, you're showing them how to do that. And, you might have some fun playing with them. And you're teaching them how to do that. And so, yeah, granted, if you give a kid enough time, they might figure out how to do a little something with a toy. But you as an adult should be able to figure out more things and make it a little more exciting. And like I said, you're giving that child joy, which is a positive experience for the kid, and it will imprint in their brain. They will take that with them for the rest of their life. And they don't know how to do this stuff. You got to teach them how to do it. Everything, just like you teach them how to draw and how to write. If you just gave them a crayon and tell them to move it across a piece of paper, all you're going to get is some lines. But if you spend a little bit of time with them and show them how to move it up and down and side to side, how to draw circles, how to draw squares, triangles, how to put those together to make something, that goes a long way. And it's the same thing as they get a little bit older. They get a little bit older. Don't let the kids just sit on the couch and watch TV. If you're doing something, involve them. If you're washing the dishes, depending on their age, just start them off with drying them and putting them away. And then they can go from drying to rinsing, then to washing, then to something else. And pretty soon they can do it themselves, and it's taking a little bit of weight off of you. I mean, that's a good thing, isn't it? And at the same time, doing all that improves their motor skills. It makes their brain work better. Using your hands to do something, getting them to work together, it's not only, it's good for your hand-eye coordination, it's good for your motor skills, it's good for a lot of things. It's really good for brain functionality. And every little thing that you teach, believe it or not, applies to something else. There will be something else later in life that little experience applies to. You're starting off with washing dishes, but if they become a scientist and they need to wash beakers, it's the same skill. Now they know how to wash beakers, and they never washed a beaker before. Same thing, washing a car. You know how to wash dishes. Washing a car is not too much further off. You start there, and then you expand out to the more, the more detailed, the more in-depth pieces. Point is, problem that we have as a society is we've had a couple of generations of children not only being born with a different mindset, however that happened, but they're being born and they're growing up, and the parents aren't involved. The parents aren't teaching them how to play with the toys. I get it, you don't have a lot of money, you can't have a lot of toys, but what are Lincoln Logs except pieces of wood? You don't need to buy expensive toys, just something, anything. And then, figure out how you could play with it and teach them how to play with it. If you know how to do something, teach the kid how to do it. Whether it's your child, your grandchild, or a neighbor kid who comes over, it doesn't matter. But the more time that child spends sitting around staring at a computer or a video game or whatever, granted, they can learn from some things from that too, but we're losing this societal knowledge that's been around for thousands of years. There are skills that they're just not picking up because they're not doing things that use their motor skills. So limit the screen time. Get them off the social media. You know, I mean, a couple hours a week may not be the end of the world, but they should spend most of their time doing things. Riding a bike, you know, I know things are scary nowadays and you don't want to let them ride a bike around the neighborhood like we used to, you know, but figure something out. Get them outside, get them in the sun, the fresh air. Absorbing the vitamin D from the sun will go a long way towards their health for the rest of their life. Especially when they're young. Everything they do when they're young is multiplied exponentially over time. So letting a child sit around and do nothing is the equivalent of letting them rot. You know, if they're complaining about their back hurting or their legs hurting or being tired, that means there's something wrong with the way that they're living their life. You know, if you're a teenager or below and your back hurts, either there's an injury that they need to see a doctor for, or they just need to get up and do things. If they can't do things for more than a few minutes before they're tired and they want to lay down, get them up and push them. Do it longer. Do it longer. If you think there's something wrong, if they're fussing too much, take them to see to a doctor. Doctor will make sure there's nothing actually wrong. It's very possible that that pain is just lack of muscle tone. They've been sitting around too long. They complain about being sore, so then they don't want to do anything and they sit around more. And it gets worse, and then it gets worse, and then it gets worse. You know, we've dug this hole as a society, and I don't know if everybody can be saved, but you can save your kid. You need to put in your effort to guide your child in the right direction. Teach them what you know. Teach them how to live a life the way that you want to live. You know, expose them to natures. Take them out. Take them for a hike or a walk on somewhere in the woods. There's trails all over the place. Get out of town. Get out of the house. You know, and go experience some things. You know, look and see what's in the area. You might be surprised at some interesting places to explore. You know, and you know, you might be interested in going. So take the kids with you. You know, they may not enjoy it so much at their age, but in a few years, as they get older, they're going to look back on it. And one thing, it was a positive experience because they had a good time there with you. And they're always going to have that experience. They can always say that I've been there, I did that. Even if they didn't like it now, in a few years, they might look back on it and have a positive thought, and that could change their life. You know, if you let them sit on the couch all day long right now, as they grow, that's all they're going to do. They're going to create a life in the Matrix where they go to work and then they come home and they sit on the couch. There was a time when TVs were first coming out where, I don't remember the guy's name, but some important guy said, nobody's going to buy those TVs because they don't have any time to just sit around and watch it. Think about that for a minute. While TVs were starting to come out, he said nobody's going to buy those because they got too much to do. They don't have time to just sit around and watch that thing. That was back in a time where people sat down as a family and ate dinner together and talked. Do you do that? How many families do you think sit around and have a conversation during dinner? I think most nowadays sit and watch TV during dinner. Not knocking it. I mean, that's a way to spend time, you know, but spending time with your family creates a bond. And I think us as a society are lacking in part because we don't have that bond between families and friends, and people are creating friends out of people who may not be good influences because they were raised poorly. It's not too late. It's never too late. And it doesn't matter if that child is 2, 20, or older. Um, you can still, if you're willing to put in the effort, you can still try to help them. Now, there are a lot of people who don't want to spend time with you or with others in the family. I get that. You don't have to go out of your way to make an uncomfortable situation. Um, if they just absolutely don't want to be around you, it's fine. It's okay. Let them live their life and you live your life. But there are others. Like I said, you don't have to go out and find somebody like, some crazy person. But if you interact with somebody, you know, help them with what they're doing. Maybe you can learn from what they're doing and teach them the things that you know. If they're interested, like I said, invite them out. Um, if there's something you're doing you think they might be interested in learning, ask them if they want to come out and help you. Say, hey, I'm doing this and I could really use some help. Granted, you could do it just fine by yourself, but asking for help is also a way to encourage them to come out and get involved. And you teach them something. They may never use it, but you at least expose them to it. And who knows, when they get to be your age, they might be teaching that same thing to their grandkid, even though they never did it themselves, just because of the experience you gave them. So anyway, you get the idea. Just, shortfall that we have in society is that people aren't doing things for themselves. So, do things for yourself and teach others, especially any younger people that you have interaction with, because they are the future and we as a society need them. Teach them your beliefs. You don't need to go into detail if you don't want to, but at least teaching them the right from wrong, teaching them values, teaching them, we don't do that, because, or we should do this because it's okay to do this because. Um, the analogy I use with my son is he likes riding dirt bikes. And there are people that do stupid stuff. They take their dirt bikes and they go ride them through the city. First of all, none of them are supposed to be on any road at all. Completely illegal. These idiots don't use helmets most of the time. They don't use pads. They don't use anything else. They go cutting people off, create all kinds of dangerous situations. They are the definition of the idiots that are dragging the society down. Because what happens is that people see those idiots doing stupid stuff, maybe get in a car accident and get hurt or killed, causing problems, and then they want to create a law to make it illegal. Well, first of all, it's already illegal, and you shouldn't need a law for something that's common sense. Well, it should be common sense. But what happens is that you have people who have never been around dirt bikes before, have zero experience, and have no idea the joy that you can have if used responsibly. So they want to pass a law to outlaw all dirt bikes for everybody everywhere. Think about that. There are people who live in certain places. There are loggers, and there are electricians that work on the big power lines. You know what I mean? And there are farmers. There are hunters. There are a lot of people who use dirt bikes and ATVs and side-by-sides as part of their normal daily routine. Like I said, the power company uses those things to inspect power lines in the middle of nowhere. They might not be able to get a truck back there because the terrain is too crazy. But they can jump on their dirt bike or their ATV, company owned most of the time, and drive it to get out there and inspect something. If they don't do that, that power line might go down, could start a forest fire. You could lose power. The city could lose power. That's an important tool when used responsibly. But then we've got idiots in high places that are ignorant that want to pass a law to ban it because of that other idiot that was doing something stupid. Rather than, pressing to go after the people that are doing stupid stuff and teaching them the right way to do it, we're just going to outlaw it for everybody. And that's not the right way to do it. But that's the society that we're living in right now, because in part, the younger generation of government leaders are ignorant, and they're just following the clique. The clique says we do this, and they do what the clique says because they don't have the courage to stand up for themselves. They don't have the courage to stand up for you, and they don't have any sort of firsthand experience to teach them why people do things the way they do it, whether good or bad. Pretty soon you're not going to be allowed to do anything except what's specifically defined in the Matrix. If we don't teach people and give them these firsthand experiences, we show them the benefits of living responsibly, that's what's going to make all the difference. That's what's going to give us a world to leave to our kids. What do you want to give your kids? What do you want to give your grandkids and your great-grandkids? Do you want to give them a world that's nothing but concrete and high-rise buildings? Or do you want to give them a world that still has nature and animals and oceans and water? Teach your kids, expose them to what you do, what you know, expose them to the world, expose them to nature. Teach them the right ways so they don't make the wrong decisions. Again, this is Pastor Dave for the Temple of Holy Beard. Please be sure to like this video, leave your comments in the comments section, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and share it with your friends. I hope you take these words to heart. I hope you apply and help me to help us make this world a better place. This is Pastor Dave for the Temple of Holy Beard. Thanks for watching.